This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, great friends. So I'm ready, and as well we have our our alumni today. We have Mr. Rajwinder Khatra joined the session. First of all, I would like to welcome Rajwinder for being here and sharing his lesson learned with all of us. But before we go to Rajwinder and before we personally start asking many questions with Rajwinder, and when Rajwinder starts sharing his lesson learned, I would like to welcome Rajwinder to the elite club of PgMP professionals, and we're going to learn from Rajwinder experience, and I'm sure that it will help us in cracking the PgMP certification exam. Okay. What I'm going to do before I start the interview with Mr. Rajwinder, before I start giving mic to the Rajwinder, I would like to briefly talk about some application process. Some of you would like to know why PMI reject the application at the panel review stage. So that is what I'm going to discuss today. This is a very important important statement, and the reason we're going to ask why the reason behind which the PMI reject the PgMP application or a PfMP application, the portfolio management application, exam application. Okay, so let us go into that particular reasons. Let us understand some of the reasons here. Okay, the first reason, which as per my experience after reviewing so many application for so many people around the world, the PgMP application, PfMP application, I provide application support service also, where people who do not attend my training but they take my application service, they take my mock test service, they take my self-learning course and so on. And many people, when they try to fill their application themselves, and when PMI reject their application, and then they seek my help that how can I help them clearing the PgMP application, and it is very difficult for them to understand the key reason why the application get rejected. So some of the reason, of course there are many reasons, but the most important reason I'm going to highlight you here. If you are still in the process of filing your application, PgMP or PfMP application, then this session going to definitely help you. The first and the foremost reason why the panel review team reject the application is the program strategy section is not very clear, which means the panel review team is not able to understand why the program got chartered in an organization. See, in your PgMP application, there is a program strategy section where as a applicant, you need to describe the strategy behind the program, that why the program got chartered in the organization, what is the objective of the program, and what are the goals of the program, and the the entire strategy behind the program is not very clear. That's the first reason. If consider I am a panel reviewer, if I do not understand your program strategy section, then it will be very difficult for me to understand your experience on that particular program. And this is the first evaluation stage, which is the panel review. The very purpose of this evaluation stage is to know that you really have the program experience or not. And how will, as a panel reviewer will understand, they will not call you, they will not invite you for any interview, but they will, based on your application, they're going to understand this program background and the experience summary, your program experience summary, and basis which once your panel review get clear, then only you're going to sit for the second evaluation stage, which is the actual exam, which is the 4-hour exam, where you will be tested with 170 questions, multiple choice question. So when you're filing your application, please ensure that your strategy section is very clear. What is the how to write the experience summary strategy section, I'll briefly talk about in some time. So that's the first reason. Second reason why the application get rejected. These are the most common and most important reason, and because of which your application gets rejected. The second reason is your experience summary statement are not aligned, not at all aligned to the program strategy. That means when you're writing your experience summary, program experience summary for any of the 5 domain: program strategy, program benefit management, stakeholder engagement, governance, or PLC, program lifecycle, those experience are not at all talking about the strategy, that how this experience helped the organization to achieve the program strategy or meet the organization goals and objectives. So your experience summary statement should talk about the actual program which you have given as part of the strategy section. It should be very closely aligned to that, and if it is not aligned, then again, that's one key reason that your application will get rejected by the panel review. Okay. The third reason is the experience summary response is not mapped to the question or option asked. In every domain, the 5 domain of program management, there are 2 questions asked to you or 2 options given, A and B. You need to pick up one option and you need to understand that option very clearly, and your again summary response, your experience summary response should answer the question very clearly, and that answer should also be mapped to the program strategy. I have seen many people, you know uh, they do not know what are these options. They feel they want to talk about something or they want to share something about the program strategy, so whatever they know about the program strategy, without even keeping the question in mind, they just write whatever they know about the strategy or whatever they know about the benefit management life cycle or whatever they know. So so they do not map the response to the actual question. So it is very important to understand the question, understand which phase of the program life cycle that question is, and then very clearly mapping that question to the program strategy. That's very important. And if you just write you know uh, without keeping the question in mind, if your experience summary response is not addressing the question, then your application definitely not going to get clear. The fourth reason is all the element of experience summary statement are not addressed or not answered in response. The experience summary statement has multiple part of it, like define and monitor the benefit measurement criteria. So when you have to address both the element, how did you define the benefit measurement criteria and how did you monitor the benefit measurement criteria? Many people I have seen, they, since they do not read the question, since they do not understand the question, their experience summary is not aligned to the question and the strategy. So that it does not address the all part of, even sometimes they understand the question, they only write how they define the benefit measurement criteria. They do not talk about how they monitor the benefit measurement based on these particular criteria. So please ensure that all the element of experience summary you understand very carefully and respond to each part of the question as part of your response to that question. The fifth point is experience summary response is not written as first person and in past tense. See, many people write the experience summary response when, see, it is your experience summary as you are a program manager. Okay, so you have to write only what you did in your program. Many people, when I review the experience summary, they say this is what the project manager did, or I delegated to the project manager, or PMO helped in this, or PMO did in this, or steering committee performed this particular task and I only supported it. As a panel reviewer, I do not want to see what other did in your program. Okay, I want to see what you did as first person. You need to, it is your experience summary, it is your program management experience I would like to see as a panel reviewer. So if you talk about what other did in your program, then I'm going to reject, as a panel reviewer, I'm going to reject your application. So please ensure you write your response, summary response, in first person and in past tense. See, every questions in the experience summary statements are written in the past tense, defined, monitored, and like that way. So your response should also be in a past tense only. Many people say, I'm doing it, they write this response in present tense and in a future tense. That's not expected. That's not allowed. This is your experience. Experience means what you did in the past, not what you're going to do in the future or what you're currently doing. Okay, so ensure that every sentence, every paragraph, written in the past tense only. That's very important reason. The panel reviewer may reject your application if you do not write in a past tense. The sixth key reason why the application get rejected is actual examples from program are missing. Uh, so people just write very generic statement. They do not give actual examples that what kind of risk they faced, what kind of benefit measurement they have in your program. Uh, even the stakeholder engagement related experience summary, who are the key stakeholder, how do they analyze them, how did they address their concerns, their needs, their expectations. So the examples are missing, and if you do not give examples as a panel reviewer, it will be difficult for me to understand your program experience. Okay, uh, so please, when you're responding to your PgMP or your PfMP application for both the certification exam, please ensure that every response should have sufficient example, and it should, example from the actual strategy which you have mentioned. Do not give example of the program which you have not performed or which is not mentioned in the strategy part and so on. So that's very important, and only when I can see examples, then I can understand, yes, you have the program management experience for that particular program. Yeah. Last and another important reason is the sufficient content is not given as experience summary response to judge the program management experience. That means people write just 100 words, 50 words, 200 words. Within that data, within that content, I may still not be confident on you, on your program management experience. Okay, so as per the PMI PGMP handbook, somewhere minimum 350 to 500 what is the maximum limit experience summary can go, but minimum 300, 350 watts are required, to actually judge whether you have really performed that program or you have really have the program experience or not. Okay, so that's very, very important. These are some of the very important reasons why a panel. Of course, there are many other reasons, but these are the key reasons. And if you are able to follow these reasons in your application, then definitely you will have a good application. Yeah. Now, I'm also going to talk about uh, the key element of a good PGMP or a PFMP certification application. I told you some of the reason why it get rejected, and now I'm also going to tell you very few. Of course, that's not the complete set of thing I can talk in this particular webinar. There's a separate, if you need any help, you can connect with me, and I can definitely help you in this particular thing. And so let me talk about some of the key element here. So key element of good PGMP application, the first element is your program strategy should clearly define the business need of the program, which means the problem or opportunity statement. That why this program got chartered or why this program got started in your organization. What was the need of the program? What are the problems? What are the opportunity which this program is going to address? If your program strategy section do not tell me the business need of the program, then probably I'm not going to accept your program experience summary. I'm not going to accept your program application at all. So please do mention the the reason behind, the need behind why the program got chartered, what was the problem this program going to address, what are the opportunity this program going to exploit. That's very, very important to address as part of the PGMP or PFMP application. The second key element is your program strategy section should clearly mention the vision of the program, the mission of the program, the goals of the program, the SMART objective, which will be demonstrated, for the program success. Smart objective basically means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Many people do not understand what is the difference between goals, objectives. If your application is not smart, not measurable clearly, I'm again going to reject your PgMP application. I need something quantifiable basis which I can see, yes, this program was successful or failed, and why, what happened to that particular program. So that's very, very important, to understand that, from your strategy, that, and this is not your organization vision, this is not your program vision, I'm sorry, this is not your organization vision mission, this is the program and a portfolio vision and mission that should very clearly uh, documented and highlighted in your program strategy section or a portfolio strategy section, because of which the portfolio or a program got chartered in an organization. Another reason is also mention solution to problem or opportunity briefly as a program scope in the strategy section. Now, you have already defined the business need, the problem or opportunity statement in your strategy section. You have already defined the vision, mission, goals, and objective of that particular program and portfolio. As a panel reviewer, I also would like to see the solution to that particular business need. The you know the what is the solution? How will we address? How will this program going to address that business need, that problem or the opportunity? That should be very clearly also reflected as part of your strategy section, and then I will see your experience, whether your experience is aligned to that particular business need, that particular solution or not. So these are the key elements. Another key element is experience summary must be written as first person in past, and this is what is the reason I told you to write what you did it in your program, what you did in the past in your program. Do not mention anything which other people did in your program. I would, as a panel reviewer, I want to see in your program and portfolio your experience summary. That's a very important key element, because of if it is not there, then your application will get rejected. Uh, the next key element of your application is experience summary response should be clearly mapped to the question asked and aligned with the program strategy. This is, and again, this is also a key reason why the application get rejected. So if you do not address to the exact question asked, and if you do not align your response, the response of that question to the the program and the portfolio which you have described in your application, then that's the reason your application will get rejected. So in your experience summary response, please ensure that you understand the question, you align the question response to the actual strategy of the program and the portfolio. Some more reason why the some key element of the PgMP certification application are respond to all element of experience summary statement. For example, identified and evaluated risk and their impact on the program objective throughout the program. This is one of the program governance question in the PgMP application. So here two element of the question is identified and evaluated. Remember, this question are written in the past tense, identified and evaluated. So as a panel reviewer, I want to know how did you identify the risk and how did you evaluate the risk. If you only talk about the risk identification part, I'm not going to approve your application as a panel reviewer. I also would like to see the how you evaluated the risk, which phase of the program and portfolio lifecycle you evaluated the risk, and with relevant example. They are very, very important, as part of the key element of the PgMP application and the PfMP application. The next important thing is do not give generic response, but be very specific with relevant example from program, from program mentioned as part of the strategy. What I have seen from many applications, when they give me their draft application for review, the application response looks like a some blog, some internet blog, or some looks like some LinkedIn article or a Facebook article. That article do not talk about the strategy at all. If it's a question related to risk, the same question mentioned above, identified and evaluated risk, So how people give response, that what are the risk management tools, so do not talk about the actual risk related to the program and portfolio. That's not accepted. You cannot give me generic response. Me as a panel reviewer, for a time being, assume that I'm your panel reviewer and who's going to approve your program and portfolio experience summary. What I would like to tell you, friends, that do not be generic in your responses. I would like to see the actual experience of the program which you have mentioned and the portfolio which you have mentioned, and give relevant example. That's very, very important. I'm not looking for any article which is can fit any program or any portfolio anywhere in the world. I do not need a generic response to the questions. That's very, very important element of your PgMP and PfMP application. Next thing is, do not use jargon from your domain or industry, because panel reviewer team may not understand the same. Many people write so many jargon, so many abbreviation which only they can understand, or the people from that industry or that domain understand. Like software people write FRS, SRS, SDLC, you know so do not assume that your panel reviewer will be from the same industry or same domain. So do not use this jargon when you're saying FRS. you know clearly clarify or clearly mention that you are talking about the functional requirement specification, the software requirement specification, or the software development lifecycle. Do not use the SDLC. For you and your industry it may be very common jargon, but trust me, it may happen that your application may go to somebody who may not from the software background, and he have never heard the jargon called SDLC and FRS, SRS, and other waterfall and these kind of terminology like that. So be very, very detailed in your application, and understand that the panel reviewer, if he do not understand your experience and your application, he's not going to approve it, and he going to delay it, and you may going to just keep waiting for it. The next point is, a good experience summary response should be minimum 350 words. Okay. Yeah, as I said some time back, many people just write 10 words, 15 words, and they do not take this experience summary seriously. They just write few statements, and they feel that this panel review is just formalities. Friends, sometimes the panel review stage become much more challenging than the actual exam. Many people around the world not able to give the exam, PgMP and PfMP exam, because the application process. And that's the one reason the number of PgMP and PfMP number is too less in the world, because not everybody has the capability to write a good application, or not every application gets approved. And many people, even after training, I have seen they are not able to write the application at all, and they keep struggling, and they give up the PgMP or a PfMP dream because of this application process. So please ensure that you understand everything very, very clearly, and you respond to application with minimum 350 words, maximum go as close to as 500 words, like that. So that's very, very important. One more thing I would like to tell you here is, write small paragraph and check your spelling and grammar before submitting to PMI. This is not my requirement. This is all PMI has a reason. They will give you why they have rejected your application. See, friends, if you just write one single paragraph as part of your experience summary, it will be very difficult, very boring for me to read their experience summary. There is no proper indenting, incorrect spelling, incorrect grammar. And please do not think, if somebody who thinks that, oh, this is not the English language test, still it is PMIC. If you do not write proper statements, if the statements are incorrect, grammatically incorrect, probably that will be difficult for me as a panel reviewer to understand your experience and so on. As a program manager, I would also like to know that you have these basic communication skills, this is all part of the leadership skills, because the PMI talent triangle, even for PgMP, PfMP, they have three angles for the program management talent: the technical skills, the business and strategy skills, and the leadership skills. As part of your leadership skills, your communication, your interpersonal skills matter a lot. So you cannot think that okay, I have written 500 words, let the panel reviewer struggle. Yeah, if the panel reviewer struggle, then you will also struggle in your application to get approved. So, and have empathy, have the some concern on the panel reviewer also. They are volunteer, they are not paid for reviewing your application. They are they are giving your time to you, going to they are a very important stakeholder for your PgMP or your PfMP certification process. So please respect their time, please give as good application as possible, and do brainstorm as much as possible. That will really help you quick response. Last couple of days back, I'll tell you, one of my PfMP participant application got clear in less than 4 hours. Okay, he submitted the application 9 o'clock in the morning, and before 1 o'clock he got the panel review approval. See, I'm not saying that it was because of the the application was good, or the experience summary were good, but he followed all of these things which I'm trying to tell you here. All of these elements, he focused a lot, he gave example, grammatically correct, aligned to the question, aligned to the strategy, and that makes the panel reviewer to give you quick response. I have also seen many applications are still struggling for more than 3 months also. Yeah, and PMI will give you standard reply that these are the volunteer, so they cannot push them. If I am the panel reviewer, PMI can't push me too much to a certain level, okay? Because I'm not going to get paid for this particular service. I'm giving as a volunteering service to you to judge your program management experience. So if you do not follow the basic guidelines, you going to struggle, and he going to struggle, and no one going to achieve anything in that. So these are some of the key, there are many key elements. Of course, this is not the webinar to discuss the application process, but I would like to talk about it. Now what I will do, of course, add-on skills has some application support service. We have self-learning course for PgMP and PfMP. We have exam simulation tools. If you would like to us to review your application, you can purchase from our website. You can purchase our self-learning course, and that. So without taking much time, now I would like to invite Rajwinder here, and I would like to ask Rajwinder first to just share his PgMP journey with us, and then we all can ask many questions to him. So Rajwinder, over to you. And First of all, thank you and for joining here. And we all would like to welcome you to the PgMP club. You have really achieved, a great certification, and you are among the top 4,000 people around the world. So have a proud of your achievement, and do help each one of us here to with your experience of program management professional certification journey. Over to you, Rajwinder.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sir, I have a presentation. If you can make me the presenter.
Yeah, I'm going to make you the presenter now. Just give me 1 minute, Rajwinder. Okay. Over to you, Rajwinder, now.
So is my screen visible?
Yes, Rajwinder, you are very well visible.
Okay, sir. I'll start with it.
Can you make it into the slideshow mode, please? Rajwinder, is it possible to make it slideshow mode? Just press F5. Just press F5. I think so. It will be there. Yeah, thank you. It's there now.
Yeah. Good evening to everybody. just I'll start with a couple of points. First of all, it's amazing, a personal experience. It's amazing what 1 week can do in a person's life. I'm sitting on the same desk where 1 week ago I was confused, um, a bit scared, but today I'm presenting to people, sharing my experiences. So amazing to note that what 1 week can do in a person's life. I'm saying this because I'm just like a normal person like you who was aspiring to take this certification. And I firmly believe that all the people who are here who want to enhance their skills are capable of completing this PGMP certification. So the first step, which I must remind you all, is you all are capable and you can make this certification through. Okay, that was what I wanted to tell you in the beginning. So what I have what I have is a slide set which is telling what has been my PMP journey, and I'll be covering the following agenda. That is, I'll be sharing what has been my PGMP certification timeline. uh, we live in the time of coronavirus and how it has impacted all of us, particularly people who have to give the exam or who are in the process of application, or somehow they have been prevented to go further by this horrible virus. Then I will talk about what I did right, which I think helped me a lot, which it is my duty to pass on to you, and also my duty to tell you where I went wrong and what things we need to keep in mind. So this is the overall agenda. So this is my timeline of the PGMP certification, where I have where you can say, if we can put it, is the roadmap of my PGMP certification. That I started with the first thought in November 19. Then the first thought came because I am PMP certified. I did my PMP certification in 2009. So somehow I felt because of reasons, uh, personal reasons, I wanted to enhance my capabilities. So I thought, let's begin with PGMP certification. So what I did was, the first thing, starting from November, when I had the first thought, I went into my first step was to get the SPM standard. So that is the standard for program management. So I acquired it in the month of December, almost. First of all, searching the web. So the whole period when searching the web, what exactly PGMP is, reading on the website. Then I came to know about the standard. I acquired in December 19, and I enrolled with the classes in January. So I think 19 January this year, I did my classes, weekend batches with Kailash. So this period, December 19 to June 20, before the exam, before the certification, sorry, before the online class, is very important in my personal experience, because when you this is the time when you read the standard yourself, you get accustomed to the wordings of the standard. You are not you don't get surprised when you enroll and face the training for the first time. So this is one point which I really emphasize, and I did the same thing during my PMP exam also. I got the standard, I got the PM box that time, read it for at least 1 month, once or twice, then enrolled for the classes, so that when I came to the classes, I knew what was coming to me, and I was in a better position to clear my doubts. So this is my first key learning, which is I want to share with you. Then, of course, Jan mid, the classes ended, and we started the panel, the application, as sir was highlighting. So I took normally longer time to complete the application, I completed around 15th of March. So this period was very large. So my suggestion or my input to you is try to make this period very short. As sir said, I was surprised that somebody got his application okayed in 4 hours. So this period here is almost 2 months. So this was a second learning for me, which I want to share with you. So try to get your application as early as possible. So you start your application from the second class or the third class and complete it by the time in 1 or 2 days after your class is there, and present it to sir for his we can say uh, for his key points and inputs. Then because the faster you complete this, you get confidence. So when you cross one milestone, the application gives you a lot of confidence. Okay, then from March till April, I started my learnings from various standard, from the standard and from different inputs, which I will cover in subsequent slides. So I scheduled first my exam on 21st of April, which was postponed due to COVID-19, because we had curfew in our, not lockdown, lockdown plus curfew in our in my home state. So then I rescheduled my exam till May, and was fortunate enough to get the slot, and I completed my certification on 26th of May. So uh, in this whole period. So if you see overall, it took me roughly 6 months to complete, but this is at the max the time which you took. But as Kailash sir advises, I think after enrollment of the class, at least in 3 months, one should be PGMP certified. This is so take that as a target to go, move forward. So this is completing my my certification timeline. Any questions, any inputs on this? So otherwise, I'll move to the next slide. I hope I'm not going fast.
So Rajwinder, so we will take the question toward the end of the when you will complete. So I request you to complete and do share all the lesson learned and experiences. You're really going very, we are, can very well understand you, and we will definitely take a question maybe toward the end, and from the participant and all. Yeah. So thank you, Rajwinder. Please continue.
Yeah, yeah, sir. Okay. Before I go into my, I was when in the morning I was making the slide. I was wondering whether I should keep this slide at the end before my before the lessons learned, or I should keep it before. So I made a decision. Let's keep it before. This is one thing which is impacting to us all, and there may be aspirants who are already in their exam stage, or their exam is getting delayed. So I'll cover in this slide what has been the impact of COVID-19 during my preparation. So first of all, these are the issues which I faced due to the coronavirus or coronavirus related effects. So my exam, this is a common problem for all of us. Exam postponement, it happens, reschedulement of exams happen very often, because either the service provider is not ready to take the exam, or the administration doesn't allow you to go move out of your premises. So exam postponement is very common, which leads to a lot of uncertainty about the exam and demotivation. I personally was very demotivated that, oh, I'm reading so much, learning so much, but still the exam is getting postponed. Why the hell this is happening with me? This is a very common question. So it is very difficult to keep oneself motivated during these times. And at the end of the day, we are all concerned about our lives, right? There was a lot of uncertainty, fear regarding protocols at the exam center, or whether the norms will be followed, whether I hope I will not expose myself to any risk while writing the exam. So this creates a lot of uncertainty in people. So what I found out, my responses, or what were the experiences which I found out, or how I did as a personal, how I did it myself. So your responses, you are the best judge for yourself, but I'll share my experiences. So first of all, I accepted it and considered it that it's okay. This has to go on, and the delays are a chance for me to prepare better. And if I see in hindsight now, when I was scheduled to give my paper on 21st April, and when I gave on 26th May, my level of preparation on 26th May, after 1 month of delay, was much better than what in 20 was on 21st of May, when my 21st of April, when it was originally scheduled. So my original paper was scheduled on 21st April. I gave on 26th May. So this postponement gave me more time to do it better. So, but you know, it is difficult to get yourself motivated. So how I did was, I I spoke with Mr. Kailash also, and I told him that day that I slowed down my expectations. This is what I adapted. There is no need to run after the paper that, oh, the certification is not happening, the exam center is not opening up, oh, the COVID-19 is causing so much problem. Just slow yourself down. The world has slowed down. You slow your expectations down also. Now, what happens when you do this? You get into that slow mode. You start slowly again, just slowly you start with the first few days. When I say slowly, it means what work you were normally doing in 4 days, one day you let it go for 4 days. So what you do, you get a start, but you get a slow start. So once you realize, okay, I have got a start, I'm getting slow, automatically the speed picks up for everybody. So just be slow. That is what I advise. Don't This is a year of survival for all of us. No need to run after this thing. Let the uncertainty get over. There will be sufficient time, as I have written. Have faith, and this time will also pass. And so this is how I overcome the uncertainty of COVID-19. I slowed my expectations, but slowing down doesn't mean you stop the preparation. You go on with the preparation slowly, start again, because the main point is, don't get a break in your exam. Okay, you 15 days you don't do anything just because of demotivation. That shouldn't happen, because then it's very difficult to catch up later. So you keep on doing something, but do it slowly. Eventually things will get right. Next was the protocols, which I said there was uncertainty, fear regarding the protocols, and I want to please mark my words. The protocols followed were the most safest in the Pearson Test Center. Um, Excellent social distancing norms were followed. Then we were given hand sanitizer, sanitizing of the terminals. Everything was in place. So please don't have any fear that there will be any compromise on the social distancing norms or on the recommended government guidelines during this paper. And one thing more important, you have to give this paper wearing a mask. So please keep that in mind. When you are preparing for your exam, just wear a mask. Suppose you are giving a mock test, just wear a mask and do it. It will give a good practice to you also. So masks are compulsory. All protocols are followed. So there is nothing to be concerned about your safety or about social distancing. You will not catch COVID-19 in the Pearson Test Center. That is my input. At least I am confident that I have not, maybe I have not caught it from there, if at all it happens. Okay. Next, we will go on what went right and what are my key learnings. The first thing, everybody say, I have also used to attend webinars where alumni used to come. They used to say, okay, you read the SPM 2 times, 3 times, this is good. What went good for me is read the SPM very frequently. So there shouldn't be a I said there shouldn't be 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. I read it very frequently. Whenever suppose I was free or something, just I opened up one chapter and read it. So SPM should come like it should become a daily practice, if in my opinion, because the more you read this book, the more better you get. And when I say read SPM very frequently, SPM should always be clubbed with your class notes which you had taken, with the eco exam content outline, and with the practice tests of add-on skills. So when I say I did stakeholder engagement from the SPM, it should mean I read this SPM for the stakeholder engagement. Then I did the eco exam content outline task for that section, and I did the practice tests also, because this definitely helps. It makes things much more clearer, rather than reading the eco and the tests in isolation. Always read it with SPM. It creates a lot of positive things for you. Then a key input which I got is the mock tests were truly modeled on the exam questions. In fact, what I would like to share with you is the mock tests are the closest you get to the exam, because you are simulating in that environment. In 4 hours, you are answering 170 questions with the clock ticking. So you are closest to the actual environment. So you get practice how the actual exam will be, and these mock tests really help you to gain confidence. First of all, you get to know your speed, you get to know how the mock test is, you get to answer question in pressure, you get to see the questions in a pattern or in a time bound manner. So these mock tests are the most important, in my opinion, in the whole preparation cycle. How it is most important is either you will get the mock test questions right or wrong. So point number 4 I have highlighted in red because I found it most important. You analyze the mock tests which you have given very thoroughly, and you analyze both for what you have done wrong and what you have done right. I last week, I remember whole Saturday and Sunday, I just analyzed all the mock tests from one question to 170 question. Okay, this is the question, I got it right. Why I got it right? Okay, this is the question, why I got it wrong. So these mock tests review is the most important, and the kind of questions which are there in add-on skills mock tests, they are really good, and they are very close to the actual situations in the paper. So this point number 4 is if you are preparing, this point number 4 is most important. Analyze where you went right, where you went wrong, because if you went right, it will get cemented, and where you went wrong, you will not make the second mistake. So fifth point is I refrained from accessing material available on web, because it's not that the material is not good. The whole point is the explanations generally are not good. So what happens is you invariably end up confusing yourself. So just stick to what the add-on skills material which is given, the online videos, the practice tests, the mock tests, they are sufficient in my opinion to do to practice for the test. Additional material in my opinion should be avoided. Telegram group questions. We have a as Adam Skills have a Telegram group, and all people who attend the training get added. That is also a very good platform to, because there are many aspirants like us there. So where people ask many questions, so you get to learn from other people's experiences, the responses which people give. And point number 7 is also very important. I wanted to make as many mistakes before the exam during my preparation. Make make as much mistakes, the better. The more mistakes you make, in my opinion, is much better, because once you make a mistake, if you analyze it properly, you will not make the same mistake in the exam. That is my opinion. So if you are making mistakes during, say, your preparation time, don't get disheartened. It is an opportunity to learn, to analyze your mistakes, and mark my words, you will not make the same mistake in the paper. So this point is also important. Last point is excellent mentorship and training from add-on skills team. Yes, the material given was excellent. The online videos, the mock tests, the practice tests, all material which was given, and of course, Kailash sir in person helped me a lot with the application, and overall general discussion with him was always fruitful. So this have been what went right with me. Of course, everyone make mistakes, and I made a lot of mistakes. The first thing which I told you was I dragged the application for roughly from mid of Jan till almost March. So this is something which all of you should avoid. We should have a particular timeline to finish the application in time, so that you get more time to prepare and you get more confidence, because of course, once you clear your first landmark, the amount of confidence grows. So better, the faster you clear, the more motivation you will get. Okay, what need to be kept in mind is 80% questions are generally situational questions, that a particular scenario is given, and the question is what the program manager will do next, or what the program manager will do first. These are very common questions. So you read a whole scenario, one paragraph or two paragraphs, then a question is given what the program manager does next, and choices are given, 4 choices. And this key input I have not put it here, but what I found out in the exam is there are 4 choices, and 2 choices are, in most of the cases, are irrelevant, and the remaining 2 choices are very close to each other. So by deductive reasoning, you eliminate the reason. So adopt a strategy of eliminating the wrong choices first, and arriving at the right choice, rather than just trying to memorize, okay, this will be the right choice. No, read all the choices. Okay, number 1, no, this is not right. Delete it. Number 2, okay, this is not right. Delete it. Number 3, this is not right. Delete it. Okay, number 4 is right. Read it, and this is right, because every choice has important keywords which you should pick up. So um, read all the 4 choices very clearly, and use elimination method to arrive at the right answer, rather than directly going to the right answer, that okay, this is appearing to be fine. Even if you know this is right, just read the 3 choices. It is important, so that you don't get because one word can alter the whole question. So please read the choices, all of them, and use rules elimination method to arrive at the right answer. Next point, second point, very important. The clock is always ticking. I attempted 168 questions. My 2 questions I couldn't attempt, because I was in the first half of the exam, I was very slow. So the speed has to be optimal. So please keep in mind, learn from my example, please. maintain a speed so that at least you can answer all questions, 170 questions, plus you get the time to revise what you have done. Yeah, always write the questions where you are having problems, right? Okay, this question, I think this could have been better answer. Just write it so that you review it at the end of the paper once you have completed all the 170 questions. So to review it at the end of the paper, you have to first complete the paper, then come back to those questions. So please have an optimal speed, otherwise neither you will be able to complete the paper nor you will be able to review the difficult questions. Point number 3, this is what is the eureka moment, I will say, in during the PgMP exam. Earned value and project selection method questions have to be practiced thoroughly, because they are the clear sure short way of getting your answers correct. Because in here, see a scenario, you are getting lengthy questions, I'll say boring questions, you very lengthy question one after another. Then suddenly one question comes, okay, the EV is this, the PV is this, AC is this, based on SPI, what is your deduction, what is your conclusion about a project? So if you know earned value and project selection methods in thoroughly, you will be able to easily answer those questions, and you will be saving a lot of time in answering those questions and giving it to more difficult questions. So this earned value management and project selection methods numericals are short points for you. 6 or 7, I think, roughly I got. In 4 for earned value I got, and roughly 2 for project selection methods, and those are very close to each other. So please don't ignore this. These are so short questions which will definitely help you to earn easier points, the low hanging fruits, I will say. Okay, there were 2 to 3 questions for ethics, and they were generally clubbed with the procurement domain and the resource management domain. So you need to be very thorough with this ethics. 2 or 3 questions generally they come with it in the ethics domain. Next is never get into an ego match with the question. Say excuse me. During the question, the whole paper is designed. In the middle of the exam, you will get a question which is 4 or 5 paragraphs, no, 3 or 4 paragraphs wrong, and the choices are so close to each other, you will invariably spend a lot of time in this. My advice to you is please excuse it for the moment, note it down, and attempt it at the end of the question, so that you don't eat up the time of the questions which you know just because of this question. So don't get into an ego match with the question. This is point number 6, debatable, but it helped me. PMBOK knowledge helped me a lot. I am PMP certified and found that the knowledge areas questions helped me a lot. Like project selection methods, I told you. Earned value management maximum we learned in project management PMBOK. There it also helped me. Other domains like quality, procurement management, all those resource management. In fact, the knowledge areas helped me a lot during the PgMP exam. The next question, which is we need to keep in mind, let's be consistent and read daily. So we don't need to work long hours. Okay, I'll work 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day. Instead, every day 1 hour is enough, but be consistent. Don't put breaks. Okay, today you have read, 3 days after 2 days something happened, you didn't read. Be consistent daily. Get to hold that book and read something. It really helps. It maintains consistency. You don't get blank, or you don't get, oh, where am I, after you start after 4 or 5 days, because it achieves consistency. And last point which I want to share is, which I already told you, application should be filled immediately after completion of the online class. So these are the these are the these are the points which I wanted to share. And I again emphasize on the fact that you have to be consistent, read the SPM very consistently, um, do the mock tests a lot, read the eco exam content outline thoroughly, and of course be confident. And you can anybody who is on this forum trying to studying, in my opinion, has the potential to clear this PGMP certification with mentorship of add-on skills and Kailash sir, of course. Thank you so much. This is all I have to say. And
Yeah, thank you, Rajwinder. Thank you very much, for sharing a really great experience of your PGMP exam. Of course, now I will ask people to also, if you can write some question on the chat, or if somebody would like to ask directly. But before people ask a question, Rajwinder, I have a question for you. Can you tell me, how the question were, from the exam content outline, how many questions you felt that they were directly mapped to the exam content outline, and how was your preparedness? How did you prepare for the examination content outline? If you could highlight that, it will be really great, for all of us here.
yes, sir. The first of all, when you read the exam content outline for the first time, I will say most of us, it is very difficult to understand it for the first time around if you go, because one statement, one task, you have to divide the whole thing as what, where, what and what, how, what, when, how. You cannot summarize that task together. You cannot remember that task together. So what I want to say is, there is one online video of exam content outline in the add-on skills package which I took. That task is that video is very important and clears a lot of a lot of problems to all stakeholders. If you have to learn the eco, first see that video, then start with the eco. It helps a lot, because what I did was I personally marked all the tasks one by one, how, when, and it helped to break down the tasks and understand it better. And the second question which sir told was how many direct questions were there. I don't right now remember clearly, but what I remember is at least 4 to 5 questions. I remember they were there from the exam content outline, which I could correlate directly. Indirect questions, of course, there were more, but 4 to 5 I directly remember saying, okay, this is an eco task question. So at least I got 4 to 5 questions directly, which I remember. Of course, indirect questions are always there. So, does this answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Rajwinder, have you taken any break in between the exam, or you sat for 4 hours, in a one go, and you only got up from your place when the exam got over? How was your, during that 4 hour, what you did like that? If you could just briefly talk to us.
We can take breaks, but of course the clock is ticking, right? So as I told you, I was not able to complete my paper, so I went slow. So I didn't take any break because I was aware that I'm going slow, and I went it at a 4-hour stretch, which is not recommendable in my opinion. It is better to take a, say, 20-second, 30-second break if you are tired. because it tires a lot. I didn't take a break because I was going slow, so I couldn't afford a break, I will say. So, but it is recommended to take a break, and if you are exhausted, just rewind and start off again. It definitely it helps. I used to do it during the mock test. It helped me a lot, but there I didn't have any such luxury because I was slow. But it is
Yeah.
recommended.
Thank you, Rajwinder. We have a question from Neeraj on the chat. He's asking a question. Approximately how many hours did you study? Excluding the application process and all. So how much hour every day you used to study? And as you said, you started somewhere from March mid when your panel review got cleared, or even after the training got completed. Let's say from January toward the end we completed our online training. So what was your daily schedule over the weekend? How many hours you used to do? If you could, roughly, if you can speak, that would be really great.
As I showed you, I started in January. After the 20th January was the date, I guess the exam, the online classes got over. So initial period, at least 1 hour after office, no matter what happens, I used to study, because that made a lot of consistency for me. I used to so 1 hour daily I used to study, and on weekends, uh, say a particular knowledge, say a particular domain I used to pick up. Okay, I will say study stakeholder engagement today. So what I used to do is, I used to complete first the SPM, then the eco task, then the practice test. So invariably, it used to take 2 or 3 hours for completion, because
Okay.
so 2 or 3 hours at least on weekends I used to spend, but consistently 1 hour daily I used to read, either lightly or very focused study. So depending on how tired or how energetic I was at the end of the day. But this was one thing which helped me a lot: 1 hour
Okay.
consistently daily and two or
Super.
three hours on weekends.
Yeah. Another question Gautam has with for us is whether this wearing mask for 4 hours, how was that, how comfortable you are wearing the mask. Do you think that also has impact on your duration? Had there been no COVID situation, so how comfortable you are wearing the mask? Did you practice wearing a mask for 4 hours before, and what was that?
Uh, yeah, I forgot to tell this. I was it was in my mind. Thank you for bringing it up. Uh, Wearing, yes, first of all I wore the mask for four. In fact, what I will say is I was forced to wear the mask for 4 hours. So it is a bit difficult at times. Say. Uh, Say after 1 or 2 hours, it becomes suffocating. So what I used to do is, at least just remove the mask for some time, 1 or 2 questions like that. So if somebody pointed out or so, then I used to wear it again. So 1 or 2 questions, you can remove the mask. What I want to point out here is, uh, uh, handkerchiefs were not allowed as masks, because many of us have because in person I wear handkerchiefs. I prefer handkerchiefs to masks, so they don't allow it. And my input to all you guys is, don't wear N95 masks, because I also have N95 masks. After some time, those masks really become uncomfortable. So if you are sitting for 4 hours with an N95 mask, it is very difficult. So a normal mask, it is better. And what I think I can give you as an input: align your break if you want to take along with the activity when you want to remove the mask. So 20-30 seconds when you remove the mask, and your break should coincide. That will help you a lot. It will save time and not make you uncomfortable. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, Gautam. I think so. You really did well in responding that. Another question which Arun has for us is how close the actual exam with mock test from you did, and the difficulty level. How close that similarity with the actual exam? That is what Arun want to ask to you.
In fact, if members in this call are also part of the Telegram group, I mentioned it there also that there is quite resemblance of the exam with the online with the exam of PgMP which came. They are very many identical, particularly in areas of procurement management. The questions which are there in the you can say in the mock tests are quite close to the questions in the PgMP exam. Besides this, I found it many the benefits management also was quite similar. The mock tests are the closest, in my opinion, as I highlighted to the to the PgMP exam. And one point I will like to point out here is one learning which happened. It's coming now. Things are striking me again and again. What I did my mock tests very late, in my opinion. So what I did is this Sunday, last to last Sunday, I did my second mock test, and one Sunday before that, I did the first mock test. So on Sundays, I used to do because it used to be uninterrupted. So mock test must be done at least 15 days prior so that you get sufficient time to analyze. So mock tests are the closest to the exam, and add-on skill mock tests contain many questions which are actual to the scenario, particularly procurement management, benefit management. I am remembering it correctly. If I am remembering
Thank
it
you.
correctly.
Neeraj had another question for us. Were the masks given to you by the Pearson View Center, or you had your own mask with you? Consider, if I forget the mask, then what will happen?
No, you should not forget the mask. You have to carry the mask. And the good point is, which I would say they are very professional. They give a mail 1 day prior to your test that it is compulsory for you to carry a mask. So from their part, they send you a reminder also that please carry your mask. So I think all of us are responsible. So we will not forget, and we will carry our own masks to the paper. So they gave a reminder that you have to carry your own masks.
Yeah. I think so. Arun has a couple of questions, Arun, which I think so. Rajwinder has already answered. Which part of the PM box he referred? I think so. What he said is quality management. Rajwinder, please correct me if I'm not able to answer this question correctly. Quality management, risk management, procurement management, and I think so. These are the topics you said. You have, of course, you referred all the knowledge area, but these are the topics which you focused a lot from the PM box guide, right, Rajwinder?
Right, sir. And earned value management also.
I'm sorry, yeah, earned value management, the cost management questions, cost management knowledge area where we have the EVM questions. So please refer these topic very, of course, the fundamental project management knowledge will, just like Rajwinder who did PMP 2009, what he said at the beginning of his, today's session. Somebody who have done PM Bob long back, almost 11 years back, he did his PMP, and what he did is he definitely referred some of the key knowledge area of the PMBOK guide. So it is recommended. Another question Arun asked is how many times you read the SPM. So I think so. Would you like to answer that, Rajwinder? How many times you think you do you remember you
Sir,
read the SPM?
I don't have a count on that because I used to read it daily. So say today I say like what happened with me was, tomorrow I started, say tomorrow is Monday. Okay, I started with the
Yeah, great.
first section, second section on Tuesday, the third chapter on Tuesday. So many times I read it. Even before in the last week I read it twice. So I found it very comfortable, and every time I used to correlate with things. But when I say I read SPM, I don't read SPM in isolation. I read SPM with the notes of which I got during the class, with the eco task and with the practice test. That is what is SPM reading for me.
That's really great, Rajwinder. Another question, I think so. We have, I think that's from we have from Nirali here. Yeah, Nirali, I think so. That answer is yes. The program management standard you can download from PMI website. That will that thing. One more question: how many mock tests have you done? Any other mock tests than add-on skills mock tests, Rajwinder, or those are the only mock tests you did for the exam? Neeraj is asking that question.
Uh, uh, I did no, as I said, I did no other mock test um, because I had this bad experience from my PMP days. So I got really confused attempting mock tests on web. So I said this time I will not attempt. Whatever course material is there, I will use that material also. And of course, I did my mock test very late. So neither I had the luxury to do a lot of mock tests because I was late in doing my mock tests. So I didn't refer to any web-based mock test because I had bad experience during PMP days, and I referred only to the add-on skill mock test, which I think was sufficient and had uh, uh, all the content of the what comes in exam.
Great. So I think so. That's all we have, Rajwinder. Thank you very much again from all of us here. We would once again like to welcome you for to the PgMP club, and you have really shared quite a lot of experience with all of us here, and this will definitely help us in our PgMP journey. And I recommend all of the participants, if you feel me and my team at Add-on Skills can help you in any way in the certification, please stay in touch with you have our contact number and email address. We are connected over the LinkedIn. Connect to me over the LinkedIn, and I'm sure that I can help you in some way in your journey. So with that, thank you all for being here. For spending your time here. I hope you enjoyed this particular session, especially Rajwinder. Thank you once again. And with that, we will close this particular webinar. Please take care all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.